Hello everybody. Welcome back to another session on logic development. We're discussing decision constructs. In the last two sessions, we had focused on some very basic ways in which you can write some logic. So when it came to decision making, we talked about positive logic, and then we had taken an example as to how to represent a positive logic. But we had drawn only flowcharts. So today I have proposed to discuss a pseudocode for the same. Remember the positive logic that we had talked about? What did we say in the positive logic? We said positive logic, we check for the next condition, okay, only when the previous condition is false. So using positive logic, what we also should focus on is testing for a condition whose possibility of truthness is more. So if the condition is not true, then the computer will process the next decision. So in positive logic, our focus would be to check for that condition first. Now I'm taking the discussion further. To check for that condition first, whose possibility of being true is more. Okay. What happens is we check for the next condition only when the previous condition is false. So if you come across a true condition earlier, then you will not go to the else part. You will not check for the rest of the conditions. So let's go through a note and revisit the same problem that we had solved last time to understand this concept better. Okay. Why should we go in for positive? It's not just the natural way of thinking. It's also an efficient way of thinking. Why is it efficient way of thinking? Let me explain you. So basic rule, what does it say? There are many times when it is more efficient to start an algorithm with one condition rather than another. So when there are multiple conditions, the question remains, is that which condition should I check first? That's a big question that is there. Remember that example that we had taken for this charge? We had solved this particular example, yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Now tell me over here, which is the condition that you check first?
The last condition, age greater.
Which is the last one?
Age greater than equal to 16.
Okay, and why did we check that condition first? What difference will happen if I check age less than 16 first? It's one and the same in this example. Will it matter which condition I check first? Opinion?
Yes,
Where,
sir.
Yes,
How-
matter.
Sir, actually, we have to check the maximum condition or the minimum.
now, in this example, these are the conditions that were given. Which is the one that will check first?
Sir, either age greater than equal to 65 or less than equal to 16 first.
Okay. Now let give me an order: first, second, third.
First is age greater than 65, then age less than, or the second condition we will check that. Then third, age less than 60.
And why not the other way around?
We can check other way around, sir.
We can check other way around also, correct?
Yes, yes.
Will it make any difference?
No, sir. No.
No. So here, the order of checking the condition, we felt does not make any difference, but it does make a substantial difference. Let me explain you how. Now here, this is now a difference between a good programmer and a programmer. Both correctly. In whatever order you check, even if you check age less than 16, then age less than 65, and beyond 65 seniors. So you could have checked that 3 conditions. That was also okay. Rather, 2 conditions only we have to check. Or you could have started other way around, age greater than equal to 65, then greater than equal to 16, and then rest of them are less than 16 automatically. As correctness goes, both the orders will work correctly. That means the kid, the adult, and the senior, that will also work correctly, and the senior, adults, and kid, that will also work correctly. Question is not about correctness. Question is about efficiency. Listen to me very carefully. Yeah? Question is not about correctness. Now the question is about efficiency, because we realized either way I write the condition, the program is working correct. So the question is, how would you decide what condition should be checked first? Now you are talking about a concert. Now tell me, do you normally see kids and youngsters going in for a concert, or you will find senior citizens going in for a concert?
Kids and youngsters.
What?
Youngsters.
Youngsters and adults.
Youngsters and adults. Now, if you feel youngsters and adults are going in for a concert, And if that concert is something like music concert or something like that, and that too a rock music, then it could be youngsters and adults. Okay, but if the concert is about maybe Shastriya Sangeet or something like that, so in that case, the situation could be exactly the opposite. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
So now, depending on the situation, you have to check that condition first, whose possibility of being true is more. So now, what is the type of concert that will decide which condition we'll be checking first? So there is a thought that we can give to decide upon which condition should be checked first. It is not like anything can be checked first. Think about efficiency of the code. So the rule over here says, general rule is that, mark this rule, condition that will have resultant of true most of the time should be the first. Mark this statement, लिख के रखो. The golden rule is the condition that will have resultant of true most of the times. That means the possibility of that condition being true, jiska higher hai, that condition we should write first. When there are multiple conditions, so order is actually important. This way you will have to process fewest decision. So less the number of comparisons that you do, better it is. Okay. So this positive logic says you will check for the next condition only if the previous condition is false. So in that case, check for that condition earlier whose possibility of being true is more. Whose possibility of being true is more. And then we also had a negative logic. Negative logic is the hardest for most people to comprehend because they do not think in the negative terms. When you use negative logic, you are telling computer to process another decision when the resultant condition is true. If the resultant is false, then the computer processes the subsequent set of instructions. I'll come to this negative logic later. First, let's focus on this positive logic. We had one more problem that we had taken up last time, and that was about this was the problem that we had taken. Did we solve this?
Yes. Yes, sir.
Sir,
Yes
we
or
saw.
no?
Yes, sir.
Yes, but I think we had drawn a flowchart for it. Flowchart for it.
Yes, yes.
Okay, now let's go ahead drawing a pseudocode. Those who don't writing a pseudocode, those who don't have this particular problem statement, for them I'm sharing this particular problem statement. And then we'll proceed. So I'm sharing it for those who did not have this problem statement. So जिनके पास नहीं है, देखो, I have shared in the chat window. Just read that problem statement carefully. Meanwhile, we'll go ahead with the solution for the same. This time around, we'll come with pseudocode instead of flowchart. So I have written this particular solution partially. Watch it. The problem statement: calculate commission given the amount of sales and commission. Sales less than to 2,000, so and so. 2,000 to 4,000, it is so and so. 4,001 to 6,000, it is so and so. Greater than 6,000 is so and so. So these are the commission rates that were given. So this was the problem statement. So what have I done? I have defined some variables. First is commission that we have to calculate, the sales that we would like to have. And then I defined some constants. Max sales for slab 1, that is 2,000. Max sales for slab 2, that is 4,000. Max sales for slab 3, that is 6,000. Commission rate for slab 1 is 2%. Commission rate for slab 2 is 4%. Commission rate for slab 3, okay, I should say slab 3, that would be a consistent way of naming. Slab 3 is 7%. And commission rate for slab 4 is 10%. So I have defined some required variables. Then we ask, please enter the total sales, accept sales. Now, if you know that most of the people are achieving the highest commission in your company, then the story would be different. But suppose if I feel most of my people, salesmen, are not reaching the highest rate of commission, they are, most of them lie in the lowest region of commission, then I check for that condition first. So check for that condition first, whose possibility of being true is more. So there are very few top performer. Most of them are in the lower zone. If that is the case, then I'm saying each sales less than or equal to max slab sales slab 1. Max sales slab is 2,000. If the total sales is less than or equal to 2,000, then what do? I say calculate commission is equal to sales into commission rate for slab 1. Commission rate for slab 1 is 2%. So for those whose sales is less than or equal to 2,000, the commission is at the rate of 2%. But that may not always be the case. So we go to else part. Correct? We go to else part, and we may have some people, some salesmen who will be having sales more than that. So I could just say either I can say else if, okay, or I can go to else and I can write one more if. But note the way I'm indenting. Watch the indentation. Then I say if sales less than or equal to max sales for slab 2. So max sales for slab 2 is suppose 4,000. If sales is less than or equal to 4,000, then what? Then again calculate. Again calculate. We'll calculate again. And we'll say we'll calculate, but look at the way I'm indenting the code. But this time round, it will be slab 2 ka rate is what I'll multiply. But it could happen that this condition is also false. The first is also false, second is also false. Then I'll check for the next condition. So indentation is something which is very important because as the number of conditions goes ahead increasing, it actually becomes very difficult to keep a track of our code.
Camera on kar.
It becomes very difficult for us to keep a track of our code. So here I go. It's for sales tab 3. So if the sales are less than equal to for sales tab 3, sales tab 3 was 6,000. If your sales are less than equal to 6,000 but greater than 4,000, then commission rate is for slab 3. And if it is not less than or equal to max sales for slab 3, that means it is slab 4. That means then I'll directly write the statement for calculating the commission, and that will be at the rate of slab 4. The rate for slab 4. Now we have written 4 conditions, but then every if should have an end if. So I say end if. The previous if also should have end if. If, and since we had 3 conditions, I'll have 3 end if, and then we'll display the result. Display. That's how the code has been written. So check out, start. We declare the required variables, all the constants and all the slabs. Then we ask the user to enter the 12 sales. We accept the sales. After we accept the sales, we are checking for the condition. This was with an assumption. This was with an assumption that most of your salesmen, their sales are going to be on the lower side. So sales less equal to max sales for slab 1, then the commission that we are calculating is at the rate of 2%. If it is less than equal to max sales for slab 2, that is 4,000 se kam hai. But if it is more than 2,000, but less than equal to 4,000. Now, where did I say more than 2,000? Say somebody sales is 3,000. Is 3,000 less than equal to 2,000? Condition is false. The condition is false. That means it is greater than 2,000. That means I don't have to write an and condition over here once again. Greater than 2,000 and less than equal to slab 2. That I don't have to write. The first condition is false. That means sales less equal to 2,000 nahi hai. That means it is greater than 2,000. It is not less than or equal to. That means it is greater than 2,000. It is greater than 2,000. So it is greater than 2,000 and less than equal to 4,000. Then I'll give commission of 4%. Otherwise, I'll check. If it is 5,000, so 5,000 less equal to 4,000, that is also false. But 5,000 less equal to 6,000 hai kya? Ha. Then I'll pay him at the rate of 7%. And suppose the sales were like 9,000. So sales less equal to 6,000 hai kya nahi hai? Then I'll pay him at the rate of 10%. And then we come out and we display the commission. So that's how it has been solved. Have a look at this particular solution and let me know if you have understood this, because our next part of our discussion is based on the same solution. ECP again, we are going to discuss. So it's very important that you understand this. If anybody has a doubt, please ask. Get the way of representation as well.
तर end if नाही कळलं.
Yes, Rohit.
तर ते end if नाही कळलं.
End if. Every if should have an end if. So there are 3 if, first if end if, second if, uska end if, third if end if. That means this entire if else was present inside this else. That means if this condition is true, look at the scenario. If this condition is true, we'll calculate commission and we'll skip the rest of the statements. What does the positive logic say? If any condition evaluation true, execute the statements associated with it and skip rest of the condition. That means if this condition is true, somebody says is suppose 5,000 1,000. So this condition is true. So I'll calculate this commission and this part of the code will skip now. Why? Because if the condition is true, we have executed the statement and directly will come here and display the commission. So there is no need for you to check the rest of the conditions. And that's precisely the advantage of going in for this construct. That means if any condition is true, you need not check for the rest of the conditions. So write that condition whose possibility of being true is more. That condition you should write first.
Yes.
Any other question, anybody? Feedback, everybody has understood or not? Now, I see some students attending for the first time, especially Manas. So when you go through the review, just put a tick mark from the reaction if you understood the discussion. If you are not understood, put a cross. Manas, there is a reaction button. Sagar, there is a reaction at the bottom in Zoom. Give me a reaction whether you understood or not understood. It was too hot in Pune. It has started raining. Hopefully the power is not lost. We don't lose power or internet connection. I have a sufficient backup, but the problem is if the service provider, he runs out of internet service provider, where his battery is discharged, then it's of no use we are having power at a place.
Hello. The indent म्हणजे काय?
Indentation means leaving margin from the border. Now think about it. I'll just do, let's revisit the same solution. Think about, look at this solution. Suppose if I had written this solution, something like this. Look at this. This is how I would have written the solution. Not left any indentation. That means no margin. I have not left any space from the margin. Tell me, is it easy for you to calculate when which rate commission has to be paid? It becomes difficult to read. And we are only talking about scenario where there are 3 conditions to be checked. Believe me, at times there are multiple conditions that are required to be checked in the logic. And if you write it in this fashion, it actually becomes very difficult to understand the code. But at the same time, when I represent this fashion, it becomes more easy to understand. You know, okay, if this condition satisfies this, and then rest of the statements can be skipped because a level of indentation aa chuka hai. Margin that we leave from the border. A border se apne jo margin choda, that's indentation. So representation of code is also very important, not just the correctness. Because you're going to write a code, somebody else is going to maintain the code. But somebody else should find it easy to understand what is your logic. So don't make it difficult to read. Readability is something which is very important when you express your logic. Okay, everybody? Okay. Now, let's look at what does the negative logic say. And then let's try and convert it. It says, it's the hardest for most people to comprehend because they do not think in negative terms. When you use negative logic, you are telling the computer to process another decision when the resultant condition is true. Kya keh rahe? We're saying check for the next condition if the first condition is true. Last time we said check for the next condition if the previous condition is false. Okay. So here we are saying process another decision. That means check for the next condition when the resultant condition is true. If the resultant is false, then the computer processes subsequent set of instructions and continues the further processing the module. Very difficult. But then I have seen developers who actually take pride in writing codes that others won't understand. They feel as if they have done a smart work writing a code that only they can understand. And believe me, with that attitude, when you write a code, there will be a time tomorrow when you look back at your own code, you yourself will find it difficult to understand. So don't ever express code in negative logic. Here, I could have said if sales greater than 2000, if that is true, I'm checking for the next condition. If that is true, I'll be checking for the next condition. Let us complete the flow chart for the same, and then go ahead writing this particular discussing how to convert negative to positive. Now let's take the same example and let me show you how we can write the same solution in negative logic as well. I'll put this in green color. So this is what is recommended. And let's take this and express the same thing another way. That means same solution we'll write in another way. Yeah? Watch it. We'll write the same solution, but in a different way. Selecting everything, I don't know. I'm going to write the same solution using this negative logic. Huh? Let's see how does it look like. Problem is the same. Let's see how will it go about. So we have all the variables that we have defined. Slab 1, slab 3, I accept the sales. And here I'm going to put across the condition in slightly different way. I'm going to say if, watch me what I'm saying. Huh? If sales greater than 2000, greater than max slab. Now, if it is greater than max slab, then what can we do? What is the say? What is the commission that we have to pay when the sales are greater than 2000? Tell me. Aditya, tell me what is the commission that we have to pay when the sales are greater than 2000?
Sir, 0.0. Check whether it is less than 4,000 or 6,000.
That means we cannot specify what is the commission to be paid, what is the rate when the sales are greater than 2000. Less than equal to 2000 रहेगा तो 2% था. Greater than 2000 can be anything, na? Greater than 2000 can be 2 lakh also.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so we could not check. So in that case, we'll have to check for one more condition over here. So the next condition that we'll be checking is this. This condition is true. We check for the second condition. Now, Prithviraj, tell me what is the commission that we'll pay when the second condition is true? And second condition was sales greater than or equal to slab 2. What is the commission that we'll pay? If it is greater than slab 2. $0.07. Manas, is Prithviraj right?
Sir, I think no.
Why not?
So it can be anything, sir.
It can be anything, na? Prithviraj, greater than 4,000. It could be 10,000 also. It could be 12,000 also. Is it necessary? If it is greater than 4,000, it has to be less than 6,000. Is that necessary?
No, no.
In that
Necessary,
case,
no?
pardon?
For 0.4 commission necessary, it is less than 6,000.
Sorry, I did not get you. Come again.
For 0.04 commission, it is necessary that it should be less than 6,000.
But now, just by checking for this condition, can you provide me an assurance that it is less than 6,000? Just by checking
No.
this condition?
No, sir.
No. So we need to check for one more condition. The next condition that we are checking for, look at this, there is no else part till now. And the next condition we are checking, if it is greater than slab 3. Now tell me, if it is greater than slab 3, then how much will you pay?
$0.10.
Are you sure? 6,000 के ऊपर रहेगा तो
0.10, right?
0.10. Now it's the first time that we are calculating something. Till now, we did not calculate anything. Okay, we had not calculated anything. Now it's time for us to calculate. So now we are going to calculate the commission and see how am I writing the code. Now the sales will be 0.40. That's slab 4. Now tell me, if this condition is first is true, second is true, and third is false, then what does it mean? This condition is true. Your sales are greater than slab 1, greater than 2,000. Second is also true, it's greater than 4,000. But third is false, it is not greater than 6,000. Means, what does it indicate?
0.06.
0.0.
Sure.
Less than
Sure.
6,000.
That means less than 6,000 hai, greater than 4,000 hai, but less than 6,000 hai.
Yes.
Okay. Now this is actually a nightmare kind of scenario when you write such kind of code. It's very difficult for anybody to understand. But then people take pride in writing such code because they are correct. So the question is not about correctness. Question is about readability of the code. So the last end it gets over here. Okay. But it could so happen the first condition is true and the second condition is false. That's also a possibility. If the second condition is false, so we'll have to check, we'll have to do some calculation if the second condition is false. So in that case, tell me, if the first condition is true, it is greater than 2,000, but it is not greater than 4,000. What does it mean?
Less than 4,000. Less than or equal to 4,000.
No. It is greater than 2,000. Okay. And it is not less than 4,000. Means, can somebody tell me? It is greater than 2,000, but not less than 4,000. First condition is true, but second is false. Means what is it?
Sir, it can be anything.
No? Okay.
0.04.
No, don't tell me the commission rate. Tell me what is signifies. The first condition is true. That means the sales are greater than equal to 2,000. But second is false. The sales are not less than 4,000. Not greater than 4,000. Means what?
It is between 2,000 to 6,000.
That means it is greater than or equal to 2,000 because it is greater than 2,000. Means it can be equal to 2,000 or less than 2,000.
It is greater than 2,000 and less than 4,000.
It is greater than 2,000. Then our conditions was the same. Because for our commissions, it was like greater than, less than or equal to, it was 2%, correct? So if it is greater than 2,000, but less than or equal to 4,000. So it supposed to we have to be very careful. It is not from 2,000 to 4,000. It is greater than 2,000. Okay. That means it cannot be equal to 2,000. It is greater than 2,000, but less than or equal to 4,000. Greater than 2,000, but less than or equal to 4,000. So in that case, it will be slab 3 at which you will be calculating the commission. And your if will get over here. Ended. But it could so happen the first condition itself is false. Sales greater than or equal to 2,000, greater than 2,000, that condition itself is false. That's also is a possibility. This condition itself is a false. Sales greater than 2,000, that itself is false. What does it indicate? Sales greater than 2,000 nahi hai. If that condition is false, what does it indicate?
Sales is less than
2,000.
equal to 2,000.
Or equal
Less
to
than nahi sir, less than equal to 2,000.
Equal to 2.
So less than equal to 2,000 hai. So in that case, you will be calculating commission at the rate of, this was slab 3, this was slab 2, this will now be slab 1.
Yes, sir.
Then we'll have ended. Now tell me whether or not this will give you the right solution. Let's take some sample value. Somebody's sales are 10,000. So I check. Is 10,000 greater than equal to 2,000? No. Is 10,000 greater than equal to 4,000? No. Is 10,000 greater than equal to 6,000? No. So no, else में जाएंगे. We'll calculate it at the rate of is 10,000 greater than equal to 6,000? Greater than 6,000? Yes. So we'll calculate at the rate of 10%. Let's take another case. Somebody's sales are 8,000, are 5,000. Is 5,000 less than 2,000? No. Is 5,000 greater than 2,000? Yes. Is 5,000 greater than 4,000? Yes. Is 5,000 greater than 6,000? Is 5,000 false? If false है, तो we'll go to else part and we calculate at the rate of third slab. Third slab was 7%, and that's correct. Suppose somebody sales are 3,000. Is 3,000 greater than 2,000?
Yes.
Is 3,000 greater than 4,000?
Oh,
No.
false.
False. If condition false है, तो we go to its else part and we calculate commission at 2. And that is 4%.
Exactly.
से calculate करेंगे we go. So this is working right. So there was no challenge about correctness of the solution. This is 100% correct. But is it not difficult for anybody to understand?
Yes.
So,
Yes. What do others feel? Is this negative logic correct or not?
Yes,
correct
sir.
है या नहीं है?
logic correct है sir.
Sir,
Logic
it's
correct
correct,
But what, Kausu?
But not efficient.
Say not efficient always, but definitely difficult for not a representation that's easy to comprehend. Is it not difficult? Is it not more confusing than what we did earlier?
Yes, sir. Yes.
When we write the logic, it's not only a matter of correctness, it's a matter of efficiency that we talked about earlier. It's not just a matter of efficiency. One other parameter on which we check for the quality of your code is how easy it is for others to understand. If your code is correct, but others find it difficult to understand, that's not a good sign. Others also should find the code easy to understand. And here there exists a chance that while even you are testing this code, you yourself may go wrong because the conditions are very difficult to keep a track. Here, if the first condition is true, we check for second condition. If second is true, we check for the third condition. If the condition is false, only then we go ahead executing the statement and then we stop and we directly come out. But then why do you have to write such a complex code? It's better that you go ahead writing this positive logic instead of going for negative logic. So there are different ways in which you could express your logic. There's a positive way to express the logic. There is a negative way to express this logic. I would strongly recommend you go ahead with positive logic because that's the way humans think and not this fashion. So it's better that you use positive logic than you're using negative logic. So everybody, the difference between positive and negative logic. And don't write that code just to show you are different, you understand the things better. Don't do that. It is only going to make life difficult for others who are going to have a look at your code. The code should be such that others also find it easy to understand. Anas, you still have a doubt? Sagar?
No, sir.
Tick karo, Anas. Now that we are seeing this concept of positive and negative logic, okay, there are ways in which if somebody writes a negative logic, we can very easily convert that negative logic into a positive logic. We can very easily convert it. Even I could have represented it like if most of your employees were such that their sales were going to be more than 6,000, they are going to be smart. Okay, wo ho sakta tha. So the same logic I could have expressed the other way around as well. Okay, so instead of checking for the smallest condition first, I could have checked the largest condition first. That's also possible. Okay.
चालू झाला का?
Pardon? Anybody has a question? So just to give a glimpse as to what we could have done, we could have checked if sales less than equal to 2,000, 6,000. If that is true, I'll check if sales less than equal to 4,000. If that is true, I'll check for another one. Is sales less than equal to 2,000? If that is the case, then I'll pay him at the rate of 2%. Okay, commission will be 2%. Or otherwise, if the sales are less than equal to 6,000, this condition is false. That means it's greater than 6,000. Then I'll pay him 10%. So here also we are checking for these conditions, but these logics are difficult to understand. Now the question is, how do I convert this negative logic to positive logic? Okay. Now before I do that, I want you to draw a flow chart for this particular algorithm that has now been the problem statement that has been given. So it says draw a flow chart to express the following condition. Condition kya hai? Bonus is 10% when your salary is less than equal to 10,000. Bonus is 50% when your salary is less than salary is greater than 10,000, 1,000, but less than equal to 2,000. Bonus is 100% when your salary is greater than equal to 2,000. Bonus is 100% when your salary is greater than equal to 20,000. This is the condition. Now, I want you to come up with the solution for it, and then we'll do an exercise where we'll convert this positive to negative logic. Now, the question is like, how do I convert positive to negative logic? Now, this concept is best understood when we write the code. Okay. After you write the code in positive format, okay, and then I would like you to write the code in negative format. So have this particular problem statement with you all and quickly discuss, and we'll again break out into rooms and you'll draw a flowchart to express the following conditions. Okay, you're just supposed to display the commission rate. That's the commission rate, so on which you'll be calculating the commission. So I will add to this particular problem statement following conditions and say calculate the bonus using the below conditions. Conditions have been given. So I'll just give you a snapshot of this. And again, like always, you'll engage into a discussion and complete the solution. And I want the flowchart for it. I want the flowchart for it. So I'm sharing the code with you all. We will break out into rooms. See the problem statement. We'll break out into rooms. We'll have 3 rooms. Let's have 3 rooms. So there are 4 participants in each room. So your objective this thing is you will have to draw a flowchart for it, and then we will convert it into from positive to negative. So I want you to use positive logic and draw a flowchart for this given problem. So join the rooms. The rooms are open. Join the rooms. Join the rooms, please. ज्वाइन कीजिएगा रूम संजय आदित्य राहुल ज्वाइन कीजिएगा ज्वाइन द रूम So we expected that all of you share the solution, all the teams. I got it from team 2. Team 1 and 3 are yet to submit the solution. Come on, quickly submit the solution. We'll go ahead discussing what team 2 has submitted. Let's have a look at the problem statement first. So this was the problem statement. Bonus is 10% when the pay or the salary is less than equal to 10,000, 1,000. Bonus is 50% when the salary is greater than or equal to 1,000, less than salary is greater than 1,000, but less than or equal to 2,000. Bonus is 100% when the salary is greater than 2,000. These are the conditions that were given. Now, team 2 solution I'm discussing first because they submitted it first. Let's have a look. Say rate in percentage. There is no need for you to again mention percentage. You could have just said bonus rate 1% or bonus percentage, bonus 1% or rate one, either of the one. Don't use both the words, it's unnecessary confusing. Bonus rate 1. Now, what is this bonus rate 1? You don't have any such variable. Do you have any such variables, team 2?
Sir, sorry, but a wrong file is shared.
Let's look at the other one. We are not going to use a variable which is not existing.
Only variable names are unmatching. Other
Variable names have to be consistent. You cannot change the names of the variables. So make corrections. Meanwhile, I'll open up the other one. Team has submitted this 1 or 3. 3. Is a salary, max bonus slab 1, real bonus. Max bonus slab 1 is 10%. Slab 2 is 50%. These were not the slabs, actually, this was the rate. So you shouldn't have said slab, you should have said rather said rate. These are bonus rates. So names are very important. Then real max salary slab 1. That's 1,000. Here these are slabs, that's correct. Yes, slabs here. The rest were not the previous one were not the slab, they were rate. Okay, they were percentage. So make necessary changes to the variables. And आपने 2 slab दिए 2,000 and this. And enter your salary. Salary let's go to max salary slab 1. If that is true, we are calculating the bonus. That's slab 1, and then the answer is slab. Okay. If this condition is false, you're checking for is it less than or equal to max salary slab 2, which is true, slab 2. That's a perfect solution that is there. I would also want you to change the name of the variable. Slab 2 need this shouldn't have been slab 1, slab 2, max bonus slab 1. This was the rate at which the bonus was to get. So you have max bonus, max nahi tha ye. There was nothing as max in this. It was about the rate. Okay. So it was slab 2 bonus rate. Okay, let's change the names of variables. Slab 1 bonus rate, slab 2 bonus rate, and slab 3 bonus rate. Okay, those are rates. Make the changes and submit the code. Let us have a look at the third solution.
So,
ये कौन सी टीम का है? टीम 3 है क्या?
Team 1.
Team one.
so वो परसेंटेज थे क्या? हमने वो परसेंटेज नहीं मतलब हम वो रुपीज में समझे, इसलिए वो परसेंट में नहीं कैलकुलेट किया.
You are from which team?
Team 1, sir.
टीम 1.
Let's say real percentage. I had very clearly told you about it is the percentage rate. Base slab 1, 1,000. If this is constant, it should have been upper camel case. You have started with lower camel case. Not acceptable. The slabs. Bonus for slab 1, 10. It was 10%. No, this is not what it was. You're not going to give $10 or 10 rupees. This is not correct. It was the rate at which the commission was to be paid. I had very clearly mentioned it about the rate. Okay, team 2, have you made the changes in the code? Team 1 also you can make changes. Team 3, have you made that little small change that was asked?
Sir, in process.
Like team 2 has also made the changes. Let's have a look at their code. Rate 1, bonus rate 2, bonus rate 3, bonus rate 1, 2, 3 initialized correctly. Real salary of employee in rupees. I had told you even last time, units of measurements need not be given in variable names. Units of measurements should come in your input and output statements. So there was no need to say salary of the employee in rupees or something like that. Salary of employee is okay, or just salary also okay. But this is not constant, so it shouldn't have been upper camel case. It should have been lower camel case. Upper camel case नहीं चाहिए था. In amount. Oh yeah, this is also you're going to calculate. So this bonus in rupees वगैरह जो है या bonus amount जो है, it also has to be lower camel case. Upper camel case we had decided we'll use it for constants. Enter the salary in rupees. Input we'll say salary. In units of measurements, that message may you say rupees, that's okay. Enter the salary in rupees. But here I just say input salary. And then I will check for the condition. If the salary in rupees, okay. And then I'd ask you to put a space also between the operator and the variables. And this is not acceptable. You are again using magic numbers. Okay. So such magic numbers are not acceptable. So I would not accept it. Other teams, have you made the changes? Make changes. This is not acceptable. 1000 kya hai? 2000, 1000. And I accepted this. And when that you should have had some constants that have been defined. So sir, क्या फर्क पड़ता है? When the number of condition increases, to check what exactly where the salary is being used, that becomes very difficult. So this is not acceptable. Other teams, have you all made the changes?
Yeah, 8 minutes, sir, बस.
Team 2 also you should make the changes. चलता है, attitude will not help. If the quality of the code has to be good, you have to put in that efforts. Okay, max bonus rate 1. ये कहाँ का max bonus rate 1 है? ये bonus rate 1 है, max कहाँ का? What is this concept of max? I don't understand. Max कहाँ? तो minimum bonus rate भी है क्या उनको? It was just bonus rate 1. Yeah, you could just say, okay, there's nothing else max bonus rate 1. Why that word max came in, I don't understand. You want to say rate 1, rate 2, that's just okay. Why was max introduced? Yes, team 3. ये किसका है? Team 3 है ना?
Yes, sir.
So max concept introduced. Different levels of bonus that you're paying. No, max slab, salary slab 1, that's okay. Yes, salary slab 2, that's also okay. Max salary slab 2 is also okay. Enter your salary in rupees, okay. Other salary is less than equal to max salary slab 1. If that is true, you calculate it at the rate 1. Spaces, I don't understand. Follow good practices between the operator and this, add a space. If the salary is less than or equal to max salary slab 2, if that is true, you will calculate to the rate. And here you will calculate the rate of bonus 3 current. Salary into bonus rate 3. And you display the bonus. I think this. Yes. So let's test this particular code. Okay. Mistake. Enter the salary. Suppose somebody's salary is 3,000. Wait here. We come over here. And bonus is rupees. In it just said bonuses. Bonus plus very calculate. In rupees is nine. Rupee bonus is rupees so and so. That was good enough message. There was no need for you to again say in rupees is so and so. You could just make it more simple. Take this as the final answer. So I'll take this as -1. Sharing this solution also with you. See the solution.
Not it.
In addition to that, I'll also be sharing the last example that we have taken. Say 2 PDFs with you. You have received it. Okay. Now the question is, how do I convert this negative logic to positive logic? Now let's look at some examples to understand how we can do that. So you could have solved this particular example. The way you have most of you have solved this particular example is something like this. But if I wanted to convert it into a positive logic, it's actually very simple. Now that what we need to do. So anytime you have a negative logic and you are required to convert into positive logic, keep this rule in mind. To convert from positive logic to negative logic or vice versa, do the following. Change less than sign to greater than or equal to sign. What does it say? Change less than sign to greater than or equal to sign. Change greater than to less than or equal to sign. Change equal to not equal to. Not equal to को equal to बना दीजिएगा. Greater than equal to को less than बना दीजिएगा. Less than equal to को greater than बना दीजिएगा. If I do that, and then interchange the true instruction with the false instruction. जो true का part है वो false में डाल दीजिएगा, जो false का part है वो true में डाल दीजिएगा. If you do that, you will convert negative to positive or positive to negative. If that is the case, let's do the same thing with the solution that we had written right now. And let's see whether it gets converted. So we'll change the sign. जहाँ less than है, where it will make greater than equal to. Where it is greater than, we'll say less than equal to. Where it is equal to, we'll say not equal to. So let's apply this to the solution that we have solved. This was the solution that we already have. I'll save this solution as negative logic first. Selection positive, I'll call this as selection negative. and we'll make the necessary changes. What did it say? Where you have condition as greater than equal, less than equal to, the less than equal to should be changed to greater than. Can you see that? Less than equal to should be changed to greater than. So ये जो less than equal to है, I'll change it to greater than. First. Second, it says interchange the true instruction with the false instruction. That means this instruction that we have over here will be placed here. A for you. And this instruction that we have over here will be placed this side. Interchange करने के लिए क्या है? Okay. Interchange करने के लिए first. Then here again we have less than equal to. So this less than equal to will be changed to greater than. First change कर दिया. And then interchange the true with false. ये जो है एक कट कर लिया, यहाँ पेस्ट कर दिया, ये जो है यहाँ से कट कर दिया, यहाँ पेस्ट कर दिया. So we have converted negative to positive, and then we come at the bottom and we display the result. So result क्या था अपना? Let's go at the bottom and see. Here it is. So what are we now saying? Watch it. We'll check for the next condition if the first condition is true. If the salary is greater than max slab 1, or slab 1 was 10,000 or 2,000. If the salary is greater than 2,000, then we'll check whether salary is greater than the next slab. So the next slab for us was slab for us 4,000. This was not the problem. This was the problem. Next slab was 2,000, 1,000 था, 2,000. So if it is greater than slab 1, greater than 1,000 है, then we check is it greater than slab 2, greater than 2,000 है क्या? If it is greater than 2,000, then it is 100. So slab 300 से देंगे. That means we are checking for the next condition if the previous condition is true. So we have quickly change a negative logic to positive logic, a positive to negative. What is the thing that we did? We changed less than equal to with greater than, and we interchange the if else. And what was on the right hand side, we make it to the false का true में डाल दिया, true का false में डाल दिया, and that's how we can convert negative to positive. But you may be wondering, why did I discuss it? Because we are not required to represent logic in negative way. Then why are we discussing this? We are discussing this because if somebody represents the solution negative way, we should be in a position to convert into positive. In that case, we would have done the same thing. जहाँ greater than है, there I'll change it to less than equal to. Okay, and this part I'll put left side and this part I'll put right side. So we can quickly convert negative to positive or positive to negative, provided you keep these rules in mind. ये rules अगर आप याद रखोगे, then we can quickly convert negative to positive and positive to negative. So take a quick snapshot about, or I'll give you a snapshot about these rules. So these are the rules that you keep in mind whenever you have to convert the logic from negative to positive or from positive to negative, either way. So I'm sharing these rules with you all. Okay. Let's also make sure that these rules are in a book. So have you understood this? How to convert negative to positive and positive to negative, everybody? Quick feedback. And why are we discussing this? Because this will be required if somebody has represented solution negative way, we'll have to convert it into positive way. And for that, this set of rules are good enough. We can quickly convert it and then make that particular accept the solution rather than using it in the same negative way. We'll avoid solving the problems in negative way. If somebody does that, we can quickly convert. So how to convert? Manas, Sagar. Are you there?
Yes, sir.
Click करो Manas, if you understood. Feedback is must. Yes. If you have seen this, today we will not stop immediately. There is something more that I have to discuss with you. The next part of our discussion actually talks about how the program should be written. Okay, so let's quickly jump onto it. Which decision logic? When general rule is to evaluate all three types for each solution and choose one that is most readable. So sometimes negative logic can also be readable. Requires the fewest tests and easy to maintain. So three logics we had discussed. Can somebody quickly tell me which are the three decision logic that we have seen? Somebody quickly-
Straight through logic, positive
Straight
logic,
through logic was first, then
positive logic, negative
positive
logic,
and next
negative.
negative. These are three things that we have discussed. You can also use negative if it makes your code more readable. So one that makes your code more readable, one that requires fewest tests and a least number of conditions check करने पर you can reach to your final answer and which is easy to understand, easy to maintain. These are simple guidelines when which logic has to be used. To analyze which type of decision logic would be most efficient for a particular solution, answer the following questions. That means you are supposed to ask yourself the same questions, get the answers for those questions, and that will determine which logic has to be used. Which type would make the solution most readable? First question. Which type would make the solution easiest to maintain and or change? Now, if it is readable only, then it is easy to maintain and change. Which would require fewest tests when you do not know anything about the data. So what is the nature of data that is coming in when we do not know? So in that case, you have to anticipate, guess which particular way of writing the conditions would require you to test fewest number of conditions, which would require the fewest test when you are given some data. So when you do not know about the data, then which one will take the fewest conditions? When you know about the data, then which design would require you to have the fewest condition? Based on that, you will be deciding which logic has to be used. Please note down this before we go ahead. Have you all noted?
Repeat this again, sir.
Okay. There we go. So these are questions that you should
Yes.
ask yourself. Huh? And these are very simple questions. Is it more readable? What would make it more readable? Is it easy to understand and change? These are very simple questions. When you do not know about the data, in that case, which order of conditions would be such that it will require fewest condition to be checked? And when we know about the data, like last time we asked what type of concert it is. If it's a concert involving rock music or something, maybe the adults and the kids will be more. If it's a concert which is involving maybe Shastriya Sangeet, maybe the adults and the senior citizens will be more, kids will be less. So ask yourself those questions, get the answers about those questions, make some assumptions about those results, and then proceed with your logic that we are going to use. Don't directly jump onto something that you like. There is no golden rule. Ask this question to yourself, and based on the results of these particular questions, they are simple questions that you should ask yourself whenever you are trying to design a solution. And these answers themselves will tell you what is the thing that you are supposed to do. But do ask yourself these questions. Take my word, you may feel they are simple, I'll always remember them. होता नहीं है, note करके रखिएगा. So when you really want to, you can just have a quick reference to it, look at it. It will give you an idea as to how to proceed. Yeah?
No, sir, I was still writing.
Still writing. slightly more. Done? Okay. Now, sometimes it so happens while you are writing some conditions, the conditions are not straightforward. There is a concept called as compound conditions. That means there are more than one condition that you have to check at one point of time for you to reach to an answer. We will avoid writing more than one condition once, but then if that is required, then the multiple conditions can be joined together either by using and or by using or. So and or is something that we can use to express the idea. So let's try and understand what does it say. Compound condition: ask multiple questions before an outcome is determined. And decision requires that both of the two tests evaluate to true. So if I join two conditions by using and this, if I use and to join to two conditions, so in that case, for the result to be true, both the conditions have to be true. So if you want to perform some action, then both the conditions are true, then you'll use and. You could also replace this and with nested decisions if you want. Using if, I'll talk about using if later. But then let's take an example which will require us to use this and condition. When both the conditions are true, then you will proceed further. Okay. But for you to understand it, let's also have a look at the truth table. So if there are two conditions, X and Y, so true and true, both the conditions is true, then the result is true. This is the truth table for and. First is true and second is false. Condition, the result of the condition is also false. First is false, second is true, then also is false, and false is also false. So for the result of the condition X and Y to be true, both X and Y, both the condition needs to be true. So that's a truth table for and. So true and true is true. False and anything is false. False and true is also false. False or true and false is also false. False or and false is also false. So false and anything is false. Look at this. False and true is also false. False and false is also false. What is true is only true and true is true. So for you to proceed further, both the conditions have to be true. So that's about and. But let's talk about a scenario where we can use and how we can replace this and very easily. We can replace this and very easily. Let's take a question to understand this particular problem. Okay, let me come with a question for that first. Simple question. So I'll design one for you. Run the problem. We'll go ahead with some simple condition. Note down the question. Accept the quantity item sold. Accept the quantity of items sold accept the quantity of items sold. Calculate accept the quantity of items sold and the value of the item sold. Monitor है कितने पैसे हुए and the value of the item sold remain to be paid.
Sir, could you please repeat?
You can tell me the question once again. Read the question once again. Yes, others who have noted.
Accept the quantity of atoms sold and the value of items sold.
The quantity of items sold and the value of items sold, and calculate the concession to be paid. Calculate the concession to be paid. Be given, concession to be given. दुकानदार है कितने आइटम सोल्ड किए, क्या वैल्यू के आइटम सोल्ड किए, बेस्ड ऑन दैट he will give the concession. Calculate the commission, no commission. The what did I say? Calculate the concession to be given.
Given.
Concession given. Concession to be given. नीचे लिखो given. If the quantity of items sold is greater than 100 units, greater than or equal to 100 units, and the value of the item sold, the value of the item sold is greater than 10,000, greater than rupees 10,000, then the commission is 20% of the value sold, value of the item sold. Commission is 20% value of item sold. If the quantity of items sold is greater or equal to 100, is greater than or equal to 100, is greater than or equal to 100, but the total sales value is less than 10,000, the total sales value is less than 10,000, rupees 10,000, then the commission is 10% of the value sold. of the value sold. Next. If the quantity of items sold is less than 100, okay, then the concession is 2% of the value sold. 2% of the value sold. We have now taken the point
Sir,
statement.
so third condition मध्ये value किती आहे ते दिलंच नाही ना.
नाही दिलं.
if the quantity of item sold is okay.
Immaterial, how much value it was?
Concession
It is immaterial, how much was the value? Getting your point? Louder?
The second,
It does not
no,
matter
sir,
how much.
nothing, sir.
It does not matter how much is the value if the items sold are less than 100 units.
Okay.
Doesn't matter. Your value could be 1 lakh, but item you have sold is only one. Then only you will get 2% concession.
Okay, sir.
Assume that the question is there with you all. Accept the whatever the question is there with you all. Huh? I'll complete the question later. Let's go ahead with the solution. And we'll go ahead with pseudocode right now. We'll go ahead with pseudocode. And I'm going to represent it in different ways to understand. So let's start with the pseudocode first. Now quickly tell me what are the variables that we require. Come on. The inputs that are coming in. Don't take so long.
Quantity of item.
Let's start first. Okay. So we'll first one thing that we require is quantity of items sold, correct?
Yes, sir. And then the value of the item sold.
One thing, let me type. Clear? So this quantity of items sold is a variable which is of type numeric. Okay, it's a variable of type numeric. So I'll first say numeric, and that was quantity of item quantity or quantity item quantity or sold. Okay, quantity of item sold. So I say QTY item sold. Okay, so that was quantity of items sold. So that was the first variable. Second was numeric.
Value of item sold.
Say value item sold or item sold value. I say item value. Next,
Concession.
concession. Anything else?
Commission.
Conditions? No.
Commission.
Commission. नहीं commission कहाँ है? There is no commission. Concession ही है जगह.
है ना sir? Sir, concession percentages.
Concession.
हाँ,
ना?
concession. Concession percentage.
क्या लिखो? What is the variable name?
सर कंसेशन की जगह डिस्काउंट लिख सकते
Concession के discount लिख सकते हैं. That's also okay.
Concession percentage.
Right. Is there only one concession person?
3.
So what should I write?
Concession.
डिस्काउंट रेट और कंसेशन रेट
Percentage.
Yeah, discount rate, concession rate, but is there only one concession rate, only one discount rate?
Concession
No,
rate
sir,
1.
there are different. Oh,
There are
concession
three.
rate 1, 2, and 3.
Hello, sir.
Looks like there was some network issue myself. Let's go ahead. Yes. So what are we had three concessions differently, correct? So you're going to get the max concession. Okay. Yeah, max discount as you can say. And what was the maximum concession?
%20.
We had a max concession rate. The maximum concession rate was 20%. I could say it is 0.2. Okay. So think about some names.
They're constant.
Very correct, constant. I should also write over here as constant. What is max concession rate? Numeric. What is the minimum concession rate?
2%.
Yes, how much is the minimum concession rate?
0.02.
0.02. And then we also had, what do you say, min hai, max hai, so what will you call the second one? In between?
Average.
Average, yeah, normal concession rate.
Normal. 10%, 0.1.
So we have defined all the variables. Any other variable that we need? We'll give the message, please enter the quantity of item sold. So we're asking the quantity of items sold, not the number, nothing, quantity of items sold. It's not the rupees. And for that we have QTY item sold. Then we have to ask the user to enter.
Please,
Huh?
please enter the value of item they sold.
Right. Please enter the value of items sold in rupees. Now here units was important. And then I'll say item sold value. Now tell me about the conditions. What is the condition that I have? Now you have both the things. Come on, somebody.
If quantity items sold is greater than or equal
If,
to
एक minute, let me write. Quantity item sold is greater than or equal to
100,
फिर लिखेंगे तो उसके लिए कांस्टेंट डिफाइन करना चाहिए था या नहीं यहाँ? What name will I give?
minimum
Max quantity. Max
Max
quantity.
it's minimum quantity.
minimum.
That can use a minimum quantity for
Item.
Items
what?
items sold.
It's
Minimum
not,
quantity item underscore item sold.
it's like minimum quantity of items sold, that's okay, but minimum quantity for availing higher discount, for higher discount.
For 20% discount.
Concession. Okay, minimum quantity for higher concession. And that was 100. If I say, if it is minimum QTY for higher concession. Okay, is that enough?
No, or a condition is it.
Break conditions, I say and. So the first time we are using and. I'm saying and. And क्या रहेगा?
item sold value
item sold value is greater than equal to
greater than or equal to नहीं सिर्फ greater than if
greater than
greater
का है
than
क्या मैंने greater than 10,000 का है
हाँ
now make it greater than equal to 10,000 I think I had said greater than equal to नहीं memory
No, sir, only greater than.
value here station is 10,000 so make it greater than equal to नाराज हो जाएंगे लोग 10,000 सेव करने को कुछ नहीं मिल रहा है okay so I'll say the question says greater than तो greater than ही चाहिए था but we are a bit more lenient there so that's a big condition that we are in. If quantity sold greater than equal to minimum quantity of this now when there are more than one condition reading becomes difficult so put those conditions in brackets okay good conventions it's all about good practices it's all about good practices that we have to follow is it necessary to put this into brackets absolutely not then the question would be why are we doing that or if we want to make our code more readable so we are doing that so use brackets when there are two conditions to be joined तो आपको पता रहेगा which are the two conditions this is the first condition and this is the second condition if both the conditions are true then what will you do tell me
concession is equal to
session is equal to
max concession rate
क्या करेंगे max concession rate
into item sold value
we don't and else बोलो
quantity item sold
if
the quantity item sold is greater than or equal to 100
minimum quantity for higher discount higher concession discount whatever it is then
item sold value less than for minimum value for higher concession
is required is it required everybody Someone tell me what she's saying is that required से लिखा तो चलेगा क्या will this be okay come on I want opinion
Yes, sir. It will work.
sure ध्यान से देखो
सर दोनों कंडीशंस ट्रू होने चाहिए ना हमारे लिए ऊपर भी 100 इक्वल है और नीचे भी है तो
I'm asking whether this is okay or not. I have not said this is correct or this is wrong. I'm still asking the question. Is this the right way to go about?
I think it's right.
मैंने ऐसे लिखा तो चलेगा क्या? Will this give me the right answer?
Sir, second वाला else.
हाँ.
और ते
You were saying something, and then I said, okay, I'm not going to do that. मैं ऐसे लिख रहा हूँ. So my question to all of you is, will this give us the right answer if I do it in this fashion?
Yes, sir.
Sure. Dekho zara.
Yes, sir, it will give a right answer.
Will you give the right answer? Don't say right just because I have written it. Say somebody's item sold are 500 and value is 20,000. So 500 greater than or equal to 100, that's correct. And 20,000 is greater than or equal to 10,000, that's also right. Then we calculate the max concession rate and then we come out and we display the concession. Because if any condition is true, the rest of the conditions are skipped. That is a good idea. Let's take another scenario. The next one, item sold, the quantity of items sold are suppose 50. Value of the item sold is 20,000 again, 15,000. So here we check. Is 50 greater than or equal to 100?
No.
Here we check, is 15,000 greater than or equal to 10,000? 10,000 greater than or equal to 10,000?
Yes.
Yes. So false and true. Answer kya aayega?
False.
False. So we go else part. Then we check,
False.
is 50 greater than or equal to minimum value of for connect this for the is 50 greater than or equal to minimum quantity for higher concession? Is 50 greater than or equal to 50? 100?
No, false.
No.
False.
False.
So we are calculating concession at the rate of minimum rate.
Yeah.
Yes.
We are displaying the concession. Let's take the second scenario. Second scenario was third scenario. His quantity is 150. Okay, but value is 5,000. So 150 greater than or equal to 100.
Yes.
5,000 less than greater than or equal to 1,000 10,000.
False.
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 So we can else one. Is quantity greater than or equal to minimum quantity for a higher condition, that is 100? Is 150 greater than 100?
True.
True.
150 greater than 100. True, sir.
Calculate the normal rate and then we display the answer. We come out and display the answer.
Yes.
Feel very carefully and tell me whether all the scenarios have been taken care of or not.
Sir,
First, come. This is sir मत कहो, आगे बोलो. Yes, anybody else has a question? Will it work or not? Opinion to do. Now give me a feedback, yes or no. Me feedback दीजिए चलो everybody. Those who feel this will work, put a tick mark, and those who feel it will not work, put a cross. चलो, give a feedback.
एक मिनट बघूया.
टिक मार दो. अभी देखा नहीं इतनी देर तक. डिस्कस किया, we wrote the solution together. अब क्या देखना है? Give me a feedback, and then I'll tell you whether it will work or not. My laptop is running out of battery. Yes, everybody has to give an opinion. Huh? Manas, Monica, Rohit. Kaustubh, you are saying something. You stopped halfway through.
सर ऍक्च्युली माझ्याकडे पूर्ण क्वेश्चन नाहीये, थोडासा पार्ट राहील. Sir-
काय क्वेश्चन मधला कुठला पाठ आहे तुमच्याकडे?
Sir, but the total sale value is what is?
आहे ते वाचा.
Sir, if the quantity of items sold is greater than equal to 100, then concession. त्यानंतरचं नाही. Second part, second condition.
If the quantity is greater than 100, okay, item value, quantity of item greater than 100, but the value of that item is less than 10,000, then you gave him 10% concession.
Sir,
Okay,
it will fail, sir.
So if the item sold is greater than 100, greater than equal to 100, and value of the item sold is greater than equal to 10,000, then the concession is highest, 20%. If the quantity sold is greater than 100, but the value is less than 10,000, then the concession rate is 10%. And if the quantity of items sold is not greater than 100, so in that greater than equal to 100, then you pay him the 1%, yeah, 2% concession. 2% concession is what it
sir, एक condition द्यायची राहिली sir.
would be.
Value of item sold less than 10,000.
So
If
that is what she was saying, Bhagesh was saying. So my question is that condition, where will you write that condition?
In sir, else if
Which if first, second, third, there are two if. In the first if or second if.
second.
So here, Bhagesh was also saying the same thing. So she was saying, trying to say, Bhagesh, you were saying, trying to say the same thing?
Yes, sir. But now I will मतलब मुझे अभी ये भी क्या सही है.
ये भी सही है. Okay,
Yes.
so what she was trying, and I made her forced to think, आप ये कह रहे हैं ना, if it is less than this, ऐसा चाहिए. That's what you feel? दोस्तों ऐसा ही चाहिए आपको लगता है?
Sir, एक मिनट.
That means if the quantity of items sold is greater than 100 and the value of the item sold is less than 10,000, then the normal commission concession to be paid.
Sir, yes, sir, we have to give because
If I don't give this, give me a scenario where it will fail.
sir, because
Give me a scenario where it will fail. एक सिनेरियो बताइए जहाँ फेल होगा.
10% of the value sold.
Give me a scenario ना सर, जब quantity है और value है तभी fail होगा.
100, sir. When the quantity of item is less than 100.
Say quantity of item is less than 100. That is only 50. Now tell me. Value of item sold is?
Sir, actually, I am confused, sir.
बोलो पूरा बोलो.
Hello? Sir, it will fail, sir, because when the quantity is less than 100, we will only give 2% discount.
So was the question saying the same, yes or no? Monica had also asked the same question. I said, if the quantity is less than 100, irrespective of how much is the value sold, you're going to get only 2% commission, 2% concession. This is a correct solution. Okay. Somebody paste the statements if you want once again. So this is a correct statement. But you can bring about improvement in this code. Now, what is an improvement that we could have brought about in this particular code? So here there is an and that we have added. So wherever possible, avoid using and because it makes the code much difficult to read. ये complex बढ़ जाता है, complexity बढ़ जाती है when you talk about reading this code. So in that case, how could you improve upon the solution in such kind of scenarios? So let us try and rewrite this code and see whether or not in this particular example, can we replace or avoid using this and. Let's try and avoid using and. Let's try. Let's see, can we avoid using and? As it is said, wherever possible, avoid using and. So we'll try and see whether we can avoid using and over here. Can we rewrite this solution without using and? Let's try. It's the same code. We plan to rewrite it without using and. See, I'm making an attempt. Let me know whether that attempt is correct or not. Good. And tell me whether we'll get the right answer or not. Everybody pay attention. This is a very important scenario that we are looking at. Why? I'll tell you. Because this will improve the efficiency as well. I'll tell you about that thing later. But ये देखिएगा. First check कीजिएगा will this work or not. I have removed this and which was so very. आपको तो second इसमें भी and चाहिए था. तो मैंने वहां से भी निकाला है. हर जगह से and निकाला है. There is no and. Whether this code will work or not. Let me know. On everybody, give me your opinion.
Sir, it will.
Yes, Ashish,
Sir, it will.
it will work. Okay, just check it out. एक सिनेरियो जहाँ ये फेल होगा. Why is it only Ashish sharing the video? बाकी लोग कहाँ गए? Ashish and Ankita are the only two people sharing the video. बाकी लोग कहाँ हैं? So this will work or not? I know it's a bit late, but we need to finish this and we'll stop.
It will work.
It will work. So when there is an and, listen to me very carefully. Whenever the problem statement uses and, you can eliminate and by using nested condition. Note, this was the first condition and this was the second condition. You had joined these two conditions by using and. We had joined these two conditions using and. So whenever there is and in any condition, simplify and look at the code. Na? Is this and then you are insisting me that I write one more and over here. Had I written that and, how complex the solution would have been? अगर आप कहते मैं लिख भी देता यहाँ and the item sold is less than that, it would have been so complex. And look at this one, it's so very simple to understand. So whenever you see there are two conditions which have been joined by using and, ये देखो ये पहला condition है and this is another condition which has been joined using and, mark my word, you have to use nested if. How? The first condition, if that is true, check for the second condition. So now if both the conditions are true, this is also true and this is also true, then only we'll go here. So it is as well as saying and. If first is true, but the second is false, correct? Then we'll go here. Yes or no? Because first is true, so you have entered in this block. But if the second is false, then we'll go to else part over here. So this statement will get executed, the first one, this will get executed only when the first two conditions are true. So it's as well as saying and. So whenever you have two conditions which are joining by using and, use nested if to replace it. And a nested if for efficiency, as we call it as. We say use nested if for efficiency. When nesting, either selection can come first. This is another way to look at it. If item sold greater than equal to minimum quantity and value sold greater than equal to value minimum, then give the bonus. अगर ऐसा कुछ था, तो ये जो condition है इसको simplify करने के लिए, if item sold greater than item units, then if value sold greater than equal to value unit, then give the bonus. That means use this nested condition to handle that particular scenario. Here we go. कहा था अपना logic and here. Using nested, second selection structure is contained entirely within the first structure. क्या कहता है? The and condition can be represented by using nested if. How? Second selection structure, that means entire if else, is contained entirely within the one side of the first structure. Else clause paired with last if. Okay, and that's precisely what we have done. Let's have a look over here. The second if else structure is entirely within the first if. Entirely within the first if. यानी दो कंडीशन जो ज्वाइन कर रहे हैं, तो फर्स्ट कंडीशन, सेकंड कंडीशन मेक इट जस्ट आफ्टर द फर्स्ट वन. If both the conditions are true, evaluate this. If the first is true, but the second is false, evaluate this. If the first is false, we'll directly go to the else part of the first condition. Na? Else part of the first condition, we'll directly jump over here and we'll solve it. So make sure that you avoid using and, because temptation hai and use karne ke liye, because it's just like what we have read in the problem statements, and you unnecessarily make the life miserable. Ye dekho kitna bada ho gaya hai. And then you're going to write one more and over here as well. That would have been all the more poor design. So and can be very easily eliminated by using nested if. The second condition becomes the part of the first if. Say a nested part of nested if. Second condition is introduced inside the first if, and that creates an and condition. So that's how you could represent this. Have you all understood?
I will learn and. मग आपण and का शिकलो directly nested if शिकलो ना.
Okay, logically and the
म्हणजे
same.
मला समजलं
What we
नाही.
have written is
and
and.
कुठे वापरला जातो नक्की?
वापरायची गरज नाहीये, but it is an and condition. That means when both the conditions are true, only then we are going to be given the maximum commission.
Yes.
Okay, so it is a representation of and. Mark my word. What we have written right now is a representation of and. And you can replace this word and with nested if condition. But even if I'm using nested if, it is and condition, because if can the if immediately, that means it is and. That means both the conditions are to be satisfied. The only difference is we are avoiding using the word and. By avoiding using the word and, we are actually making the code also more readable, because the complex big conditions have now been replaced. And I'll tell you more about it efficiency. If the first condition is false, there is no need for you to check for the second condition. And की जरूरत ही नहीं आपको. So I shared the solution with you. Read it carefully. Both are representation of and. Mark my word. Both are representation of and. एक जगह मैंने and लिखा है, and एक जगह I have got that and scenario by using if के अंदर if. That's also and. Have you all understood this?
Okay.
Both of them are and.
Understood.
I'm saying wherever possible, one of the questions that we have to ask ourselves, is the code more readable? So tell me, when I had to use that and is it easy to implement? So when I write those big conditions, there is always a chance of errors being introduced. So avoid writing those complex big conditions and this and that. 3 and रहेगा तो क्या करोगे? 2 and रहेगा तो क्या करोगे? 3 condition join किए रहे हो तो क्या करोगे बताओ? Place those 2 ands to join 3 conditions, 1 and to join 2 conditions, 2 and to join 3 conditions. So तीनों condition join करने पर if 3 conditions are true, I'm going to suppose do something. तो उसको replace करने के लिए first if के अंदर second if के अंदर third if. तो तीनों अगर true रहेंगे तो if then you proceed further. There is no need for me to use one and where I'm going to join all the conditions. Are you getting my point?
Yes, sir.
Everybody? Rahul? Yeah. So we are also. I know it's too late today. Okay, I have shared the solution with you all. Have that solution, go through it. We meet tomorrow and we'll look at the OR conditions as well. Okay, I'm not giving any assignment. This is slightly confusing. Just read it and be ready for the next session that we have tomorrow. So thank you all for the session today. See you tomorrow. Take care. Love you all. Bye bye. अगर कोई क्वेरी है तो आप पूछ सकते हैं मुझे अभी. Right.